Okay, so accessories and stuff are really interesting, but what am I actually running inside of this new video production, editing, special effects, and gaming PC build? Well, here's my new CPU. It is a Ryzen 9 12 core 5900X. Here is the new motherboard. It is a B550M Aorus Pro P gaming motherboard by Gigabyte. I'm going to open this up. I'll explain to you guys why I chose this motherboard. Like all my components, I obsessed for a really long time over what I'm getting and why I'm getting it. But the new 12 core Ryzen 9 5900X is going to be sitting in here. Let's pull it out. Here it is. I've already got seated the 12 core Ryzen CPU in the CPU socket, as you can see. BIOS is already updated, which is great. This board originally supported the 3000 series line of Ryzen CPUs. This new Ryzen 9 is 5900X, so obviously it's a 5000 series CPU and it needed a BIOS update. So that's all done. There are a lot of cool features on this chipset now that it's updated for the 5000 series. This is the first motherboard series in the 500 line that supports PCIe Gen4. And so the top slot is a Gen 4 slot, and this NVMe slot right here is also a Gen 4 slot. So that's really awesome. Increased speeds, increased bandwidth. Really going to take advantage of this new CPU. Right below the top slot is a Gen 3 1X PCIe slot, another NVMe slot here, and then the bottom drive slot, which I think is a 4X PCIe Gen 3. Of course, we have all the different things you need on a motherboard. There are a lot of fan headers on here. The power is over here. There are 4 SATA connectors on this side. I like that they're right angle. Lots of USB support for the front panels, lots of I/O stuff. Don't really need to cover that. Sound support. The thing that made me choose this motherboard, though, over a lot of other B550M solutions, is this has a ton of USB support. Now, this is the Pro P. It's actually a refresh of the B550M Aorus Pro. And the reason they refreshed it is they actually added beefier VRMs on to this motherboard, which is really cool too. I'm really not worried about it with the 12 core. Even if I had the 16 core 5950X, you really don't have to worry about the VRMs on the previous motherboard, but they refreshed them anyways. And these chunky VRMs should be enough to handle any overclock. There are 4 USB 2.0 ports on the back. There's an HDMI and a display port. Of course, I don't have onboard graphics on this chip. I'm going to be using graphics from a dedicated GPU, and I'll be sharing that momentarily. USB 3.2 ports, 2 of them there. 2 more USB 3.2 ports. USB Type-C, another USB 3.2, and a 2.5 Gigabyte Ethernet port right there, as well as all the audio ports right here on the back as well. I also really liked that this has a built-in faceplate. So bygone are the days of trying to finagle a flimsy little metal backplate into the back of your case. It's built right in on this. I think that's a really nice touch. In 2021, I've seen some cases that do not support this. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. They should all support this. Turn a bit to the side so you can see this is a very substantial, beefy heat sink for the VRMs. Another one on the top there. Yeah, that's a short overview of this motherboard. And next up, I will move on and we'll talk about how I'm going to be cooling this 12-core CPU.